Good morning, everyone. It is really great to be here in Accra for this ICT4 Development Conference. Let me start by greeting and thanking the Catholic Relief Services for inviting Microsoft to be associated with this incredible conference. My name is André, I will say it slowly. My name is André Azevedo. I'm Portuguese, based in Lisbon, and it's really great to be associated with this program and with this conference because the motto of the program I'm leading at Microsoft is exactly the same, which is using technology to accelerate development and to change lives. I have 30 years of experience, both in private and public sector. Part of it was, thank you. Yes, it's rare because people tend to choose one side of the barricade, and I'm glad to be changing. And the importance that I feel from this project, it's because it's really changing and having impact at scale. We just launched it, but it's making a difference already. I have a legal background, so I'm an example of a digital transition, a living example of a digital transition. I'm moving from the legal stuff to a much more passionate world, which is the technology, because we know that's what is changing the world. Between 2019 and 2022, I was the Secretary of State for the digital transition in Portugal. So I do believe, I can confirm that it really makes a difference to have a digital agenda for a country, for an organization, or for a person. Let me also start with a big thank you. I know this conference, it's all about this big community of nonprofit organizations. This is an incredible community that is making a huge difference on the field, and because of that, I don't know, the pointer is not changing. I don't know what's happening. It's always like this. Whenever we talk say nice things about technology, okay, it's here. It's always like this. So I want to thank you because this is an incredible community. We've been working and investing heavily. We are partners at the end of the day, and we do believe that you are making a big difference in the real world. We have 375,000 nonprofit organizations working with us, and we are donating $4 billion for this incredible community because we know you are relevant and you are making a big difference. We're living in a very changing world, in the world that is changing very fast. What is it? Another trap? Okay. So what is it? Can I change or are you going to change? Okay. It's just the batteries. Okay, we're living in this incredible speed of change. It's clear for everyone that the world is changing constantly. And as we were about to feel comfortable with this new normal, there is a new factor in town, which is the artificial intelligence that is raising the bar in terms of impact and changing once again all our habits and the way of working and collaborating. It's changing individually, having impact in our daily life. It's changing our organizations, your organizations, and it's also changing the countries, the regions, and the continents. Working now? Okay, good. I hope now it's working. Okay. And this profound change we're seeing comes also with a strong belief that technology can play a positive role in this process. We have survived the pandemic crisis, and technology was a key tool and the key component of the recipe for success. The level of technology adoption is rapidly changing, and we see at the same time unexpected military conflicts. We see unexpected or expected impact on climate changes, and this all is contributing to this tension in the world that we need to tackle. And at the same time, we're seeing this accelerated digitalization that hasn't been having the same impact all over the world. We see what we can consider a digital gap, some countries being left behind, and that is why we do believe all of us in this room, but also in this case Microsoft, need to play a role to really decrease this gap and try to solve this problem. As I mentioned, AI is really changing the game. We are on what we can consider the golden age for AI. Everybody is really investing heavily. In our case, it was an investment of 10 billion that we are now democratizing its access, putting it, embedding it in all our technologies and solutions. And it's about really changing the way we are working together. We are doing different kind of searches, different kind of research. We are doing a totally different way of dealing with the data and analytics. And we are working with our own language, with natural language. And this is an opportunity for people with less capabilities to really interact in a totally different way, democratizing access to what we can call this digital revolution. And it's also this pace of change that is raising these challenges, but at the same time, intensifying the inequalities that I told you about. And that's why we need to work together, supporting inclusive economic growth and opportunity. We need to make sure that we do this, making sure that there is trust in the market, that we are protecting our fundamental rights, that none of us feel threatened by this change, this incredible change. And also, we know that without this trust, people will not adopt, people will not be willing to really collaborate in this new paradigm. And that was why we looked into the reality and we thought that there were countries that needed our special attention. United Nations clustered this group of countries named least developed countries that represent 12% of our global population, around 1 billion. 700 million of them are under 14 years old, meaning the future power of humanity, the future generations are located in these countries. 33 of them are in Africa, and they live with less than $3 a day. So this is something that really deserves our attention, and technology can, we believe, can be part of this solution. We know that these least developed countries and emerging countries are at the core of what we consider the digital divide, and we need to use the capacity we have, the capacity to invest, but also this data-driven digital economy to really use it as a powerful tool to change this situation. I brought here some statistics to give some context to what's happening. 23% of the population in least developed countries have no access to any kind of mobile broadband network. The average internet speed is 8 times faster in developed economies than in LDCs. And the use of internet in terms of percentage of population rises from 20% in LDCs to 90% in developed economies. So we need to act, we need to do something about it because the opportunity is here and we need to help these vulnerable communities to really thrive and make a difference. And that's where our mission as Microsoft, as a market leader, comes in. We have this motto, which is about empowering every person and organization on the planet to achieve more. And to reach every person and every organization, we need to look to these countries that are being left behind. And that was why we launched this program named the Digital Development Program. It was launched in March 2023, so around 1 year ago, in the LDC5 conference from UN in Qatar. And we made the formal announcement in September 2023 during the United Nations General Assembly. And the idea, the purpose of this new approach, it's because as we looked into the reality, it was clear that we needed a third way. On one side, we have the typical commercial approach that was not affordable for these countries and were excluding these communities for having access to the best of the technology. And we had also our more typical philanthropic approach that we considered not scalable because it was based only on grants. And we know that grants cannot scale, and sometimes they are not there in the following year. So we decided to create this new concept, this third way that we named the Digital Development Program, that is focused on low-income countries, and it's about a social enterprise business model, meaning we're giving up our margin of profit to really make it affordable. For you to have an idea of the scale of the effort we're doing, we're making discounts of 75% in our technology, really to make a difference. So I do think that this can really be a game changer in what we're doing as a company and as a part of your community. So what are the 5 basic principles of this program? First of all, we're looking for scale. We're not looking for small pilots or for a small experience. We wanted to really to offer or challenge countries for an holistic approach, for a comprehensive strategy that really covers all the dimensions of the digital agenda, from skilling to transforming public services, to embedding AI in all the new generation of digital services, all of that, to cybersecurity, privacy. We want it all, and we wanted to make sure that is available at scale. We are looking for partnerships, and that's why we're also here, because we don't want to do this journey alone. None of us can do this journey alone. So we want to bring all the other stakeholders, from funding agencies, donors, NGOs, but also the UN ecosystem together with us, so that the private and public sector once again can join forces to really make a difference. We bring our experience in terms of project management and delivery, and our technology that is exactly the same what we're positioning in the developed economies and what we are offering to the least developed economies. And as I mentioned, it's about making it affordable and sustainable in the long term. This is a commitment we're doing not for a year. This is a stable pricing framework until 2030, aligning it with the SDG goals of the UN. And finally, it's about focusing on the country, on the political priorities of the country, to make sure that this is not a one-size-fits-all approach. This is something that is tailor-made, co-designed and crafted with the local authorities to really make sense and build on what is already happening on the field. The motto is also, as I mentioned, use technology as a priority engine for development, and it's this concept of really working with the countries to really leapfrog milestones. We do believe that in some cases, not having a legacy can be an advantage, because these countries can really leapfrog in terms of milestones of development. We have focused our attention and created this criteria of eligibility to benefit from this program, focusing on the 75 World Bank criteria, meaning the countries that are eligible for international development assistance, that represent 23% of the entire population. So climbing from 46 least developed countries to 75 IDA World Bank countries, really to allow every country that is in need to really benefit from here. And you can see on this map that the location is heavily in Africa, also in Asia Pacific, and we're looking to start in Africa, and that's why it's so important for us to prioritize this continent. In terms of eligibility criteria, we are focusing our attention, as I mentioned, on governments and public administration. So we will not be available to work with the private sector as a whole. Of course, the NGOs are an exception. We have different strategies and different pricing frameworks. And the priority areas we have identified to challenge these countries to engage with us are the digital government, a new paradigm of digital government, really climbing and defining a new standard for workplace in the public administration, making sure we define good standards in terms of privacy, in terms of cybersecurity, in terms of efficiency and productivity, and also developing what we call a new generation of digital public services, taking advantage of low-code, no-code tools, AI, that really can accelerate the digital implementation and the omni-channel communication. The second pillar, it's about education. We know that without skills, it's impossible to take advantage and unleash the potential of technology. And for this reason, we will make available our platform of learning management and also our contents that can be also an accelerator, a fast track for digital skilling and digital education. On healthcare, we consider this is a critical social area. And so what we're looking for is also use this new standard to transform and increase efficiency on healthcare systems, and also on the other two pillars around climate change and food security. As foundational enablers, we identified 3 areas. The skilling component that I mentioned, the connectivity with our Airband initiative, and also the entrepreneurship and the startups ecosystem that can create this trigger for transformation and an acceleration of transformation for both public and private sector. As I mentioned, we don't want to do this alone. This is a simplified map on all the entities we're working with and having contacts in order to really connect the dots between all of us to really transform and having impact at scale. We go from the UN development agencies to development banks, bilateral development agencies, as obviously the key INGOs, but also many of NGOs that are here present. What we bring as valuable capabilities is, as a start, what we consider digital advisory. So this is an investment we do to support the governments of these countries to really create a national digital agenda that covers all the dimensions. This is an investment we're doing together with KPMG to create and co-design with the country this national strategy. The second piece of this strategy, it's about affordable pricing, as you can see, and it's about creating conditions of affordability for accessing our technology. The third piece, it's about the partnerships we're bringing with all the IDO sector and also taking advantage of the visibility we can bring to these projects and to these countries that really use digital as their flagship initiatives. The fourth one is about capacity building, building on all the skilling programs that we consider absolutely critical and strategic. The fifth one is about connectivity. The sixth one, and today we have the presence here of Digal, which is a partner with whom we've been working in order to use digital public goods and digital public infrastructure as a way to scale digital public services and digital solutions that using open software to really make a difference, and that can, in some extent, be a very powerful tool in order to define and co-design this national strategy. And finally, around the startups ecosystem, as I mentioned, we do believe that startups can be the engine and the front runners in this transformation. The methodology we're following, it's relatively simple. We start with an expression of country interest. These countries, and we are already in a formal engagement with 4 countries, Cape Verde, Angola, Ivory Coast, and Ethiopia, and also Mozambique, sorry, the 5th one, not yet formalized, but almost there. And we typically start with the expression of countries' interest, then we go to prepare the on-site visit, listen and learn from what is already the national agenda, and from there we go on site, we do an assessment together with KPMG, we look into the national strategy that are typically already in place, we do benchmarking, we do a SWOT analysis, and we produce a report that in some extent summarizes the key findings, the key conclusions, and also what we think should be the accelerators for implementing this national strategy. And from there, we normally start on project deployment. That's where we are in these 4 countries. I'm almost ending, so just to clarify, from our experience with this initial set of countries, we have already 4 key areas that are chosen or elected by countries as their top priorities: digital public services, education and skills, startups and entrepreneurships, and connectivity. These are the key pillars according to the learnings we got from these countries. So this is, I end as I started with this call to action to make this effort to really join forces and all of us try to expand the great opportunity, the great impact we can have together. We need the trust of the citizens, of the organizations to understand that we're living this incredible momentum, but this comes with the responsibility of really being consistent and intentional in really accelerating digital strategy. We are committed with sustainability, not only internally as a company, but also with our partners and the countries with whom we engage. And we have this red line, which is the real and concrete and tangible protection of fundamental rights. I would like now to ask the Reggie to really roll the video. I will end with this video that is on the words of our Brad Smith, our president, explaining how we, together with you, this non-profit organization, that community, can make a difference and can have an impact at scale. If you could please roll the video. Thank you.
We're living in a changed world. Advances in technology are dramatically reshaping how we live, work, and learn. And while there is great potential for technology to help address society's biggest issues, the pace of this change is also raising new challenges and amplifying existing inequities in our communities. Now more than ever, Microsoft recognizes its enormous responsibility and opportunity to ensure that the technology we create benefits everyone on the planet, as well as the planet itself. Now is the time for urgent action. Those of us that can do more should do more. But the challenges we face are complex, and no one company, industry, or country can solve them alone. Together, we can reimagine a better future.
So definitely together we can do more. So I urge you to really join forces and let's make a difference at scale. Thank you very much. Thank you.